Insects are the most numerous category of life on Earth. With an estimated 10 quintillion individuals crawling, flying and buzzing around the world, these tiny creatures dominate the animal kingdom. While many are innocuous, even necessary to ecosystems, there are a select minority that contain traits or features capable of inflicting damage. This video will show you the 20 most dangerous insects in the world, including some that look small but are actually very dangerous. Giant tree weta. Can you imagine coming across an insect that is so big that it may be comparable to the weight of a small bird? It is the enormous tree weta, which is a kind of bug that is unique to New Zealand and is one of the heaviest insects in the world. These creatures, which can weigh up to 70 grams, are famous in their home country. The name weta comes from the Maori language and means God of ugly things. This is because it looks rough and scary. These bugs have been around for more than 190 million years, which means they are older than many dinosaurs. Not having ears on their heads but on their knees adds to their mystery. They don't have poison or a sting, but their strong jaws can give them a painful bite, showing anyone who gets too close that size isn't their only defense. Tarantula hawk. This strong wasp is a natural predator that hunts tarantulas in a brutal but intriguing way. The female tarantula hawk paralyzes her victim with a powerful sting before dragging the helpless spider to her nest to serve as a live feeding supply for the larvae. While female tarantula hawks are aggressive predators, certain species rely on nectar for survival. Their sting is famed among humans, with entomologist Justin Schmidt describing it as a searing, all-consuming agony that makes you helpless to do anything other than scream. Though the agony goes away after a few minutes, the experience is memorable, cementing the tarantula hawk's reputation as one of the most terrifying insects on the globe. Australian funnel web spider. The Australian funnel web spider has a scary image and is often called one of the scariest spiders in the world. This spider is mostly found in the wet forests of eastern Australia, and it scares even the strongest people. There are more than 40 types of funnel web spiders, so not all of them are equally dangerous. However, some, like the Sydney funnel web spider, have poison that is so strong that it can cause serious muscle and heart cramps within minutes. Prior to the discovery of an antidote in 1981, these spiders were responsible for at least 13 verified fatalities. Fortunately, the antidote has now saved many lives, but meeting one is still a serious problem. Its aggressive behavior and deadly bites guarantee that a confrontation with this spider is both unpleasant and memorable. If you're considering a vacation to Australia, particularly near wooded regions, use caution. Even with a cure, the bite is a horrible experience. Puss caterpillar. If you think the pus worm is cute and soft, don't be fooled. It is actually very dangerous. Mexico and the eastern United States are home to this butterfly pup. It looks harmless, but it has a terrible secret. It looks like a fluffy cat, but its spines are poisonous and can cause a lot of pain. The poison quickly spreads through the body, so even a small touch of its hair-like bristles can cause a severe response. People who have experienced it often talk about the pain, feeling like a burning sensation that spreads out, and it can sometimes come with nausea and trouble breathing. When it comes to immediate care, you'll want to start by taking out those embedded spines and giving the affected area a thorough clean. Even though it's tiny and appears harmless, the puss caterpillar really shows us that you can't always judge by appearances. Asian giant hornet. The Asian giant hornet is a pest that is getting more attention now that it lives in places other than China, Japan, and India, where it was originally found. It's scary to see these hornets because they can get almost 3 inches long. They are known for wiping out honeybee colonies, killing hundreds of bees in just a few hours. This not only hurts bees, but it also hurts farming, since bees are very important for fertilizing crops. Beekeepers and scientists alike are concerned about the possible ecological ramifications of these hornets expanding into other areas, including North America. The Asian giant hornet is just as dangerous to humans. Its sting contains a mix of poisons that cause terrible pain, swelling, and, in the worst cases, fatal allergic reactions. In Japan alone, these hornets cause about 50 deaths annually, earning them the nickname murder hornets. Assassin caterpillar. There is a very dangerous animal hiding in the bark of trees in Brazil's jungles. We call it the assassin worm. This worm is just over an inch long and doesn't look like much. However, the Guinness Book of Records lists it as the most poisonous ever. Its poison is very sneaky. It attacks red blood cells and causes internal bleeds that can be fatal if not treated. Being able to blend in with its surroundings makes it much more dangerous, leaving unaware victims unaware until it's too late. Even worse, because assassin caterpillars tend to reside in groups, there are probably a lot more around where there is one. Everyone who comes into contact with this monster should exercise caution. Fire ants. Even though fire ants are small, their sting is very painful. Unlike most ants that simply bite, fire ants inject venom into their victims, leaving a painful burning sensation. Their poison rarely kills people, but it can be very dangerous for people with allergies and cause anaphylaxis about 5% of the time. However, a fire ant sting can be fatal for smaller species. In addition to their excruciating stings, fire ants are well known for their detrimental effects on agriculture and ecosystems. Every year, attempts to manage them, which include medical care, agricultural damage restorations, and pest control measures, cost more than $5 billion in the United States alone. These microscopic invaders are a perfect illustration of how even the tiniest organisms can have a significant effect. Beetles. Beetles might look pretty harmless at first, but with around 350,000 species out there, some can actually be quite dangerous. Let's talk about the Titan beetle. It's one of the biggest insects out there, reaching lengths up to 17 centimeters. You can find this beetle hanging out in tropical rainforests. It's got some seriously strong jaws that can snap pencils in half, and it can give a pretty painful bite if it wants to. Check out the Hercules beetle. This rhinoceros beetle can grow to about 19 centimeters long and carry an incredible 850 times its own weight. Even though their strength is pretty impressive, the beetles that really worry us are the ones that can directly threaten humans. A chemical called cantharidin is released by the blister bug and can irritate and form painful blisters when it comes into contact with skin. In the same way, the rove beetle makes pedirin, a poison that can burn badly, give you a fever, and even make you blind if it gets into your eyes. Even though these bugs don't look dangerous, their defenses are very strong. Yellow jacket. Most wasps are content to stay alone, but the yellow jacket is an exception. North America is primarily home to this violent bug. It is known for protecting its territory and giving painful stings. Bees lose their stinger after striking, but yellow jackets can sting more than once, sending out venom that hurts very badly and makes the area swell up. When disturbances disrupt their underground homes, they emit a warning pheromone, prompting a large group of wasps to attack. They are very dangerous, especially to people with allergies, because they are always angry. Their stings can even kill you in some cases. Although they have a scary image, yellow jackets are very important for keeping pest populations in check. However, because they attack without being prompted, they are one of nature's most feared insects. Brown recluse spider. Native to the southern and central United States, the brown recluse spider is among the most poisonous in the world. At first view, it may appear to be any other house spider, But upon closer inspection, you will find an unusual difference. It has 6 eyes, paired rather than normally 8. Severe necrosis brought on by a brown recluse can produce black blisters and deep ulcers that could take weeks or even months to heal from. Under severe circumstances, the venom may kill tissue and, left untreated, cause long-term harm. People have found these spiders in shoes and clothes, but they prefer dark, undisturbed areas like woodpiles, rocks, or basements. Although their reclusive behavior means they seldom bite unless provoked, their poison makes anyone unfortunate enough to come in their path somewhat concerned. Botflies. Botflies, or hornet flies, are roughly the size of your fingernail but have a bad reputation. The life cycle of these bothersome parasitic insects relies on a host, which sadly can be a person. They don't go after people directly. Instead, they take over animals that feed on blood, like mosquitoes. When a mosquito lands on a host to eat, the botfly's eggs move to the host without the host knowing it. The eggs hatch when the larvae feel body heat, which lets them crawl under the skin and start growing. Botfly larvae live under the skin until they are fully grown and feed on the host's tissue. They grow to be 12 to 19 millimeters long. Most infestations don't kill, but if left untreated, they can develop into dangerous diseases. Getting rid of these unwanted guests usually requires tools or medical help, which is a scary thought for anyone. Giant honeybees. Bees are important producers that live almost everywhere on Earth, but the Apis dorsata, or huge honeybee, stands out both literally and figuratively. The biggest honeybee species in the world, these bees live in the forests of South and Southeast Asia, especially in Nepal's Tarai area. They can grow up to an inch long. Their nests, which are often high up in trees, are amazing works of nature engineering. But be careful, because these bees are very mean when they guard their colonies. Not only does a giant honeybee sting hurt, but it can also cause serious allergic responses, stomach pain, and even organ damage. Researchers in Sri Lanka found cases where strikes by hundreds of these bees were so dangerous that people's lives were in danger. Beekeepers never keep giant honeybees because they are too dangerous to handle. Their smaller cousins are easier to handle. Explore the woods where these bees live with caution because they will defend their territory if threatened. Warrior wasps. The warrior wasp lives in the warm areas of Central and South America. It is a notoriously painful bug that has a scary personality. This wasp, whose formal name is Sinoica, got its name from both its painful sting and the way it acts when it wants to warn you. Before they attack, warrior wasps put on a scary show by moving their wings in a way that looks like drumming. Most of the time, this drumming sound is enough to scare off potential attackers. If it doesn't, their sting is unbearably painful. The famous ecologist Justin Schmidt, who wrote The Sting of the Wild, said that getting stung by a warrior wasp hurt like being chained inside a volcano that was exploding. They pride themselves on being one of the most feared insects in their area because they are naturally mean and can sting non-stop. Bullet ants. If a prize were awarded for the insect's most excruciating sting, the bullet ant would undoubtedly win. Known locally as the 24-hour ant, this ant, which is found in Central and South American rainforests, gives a sting so painful that it seems like a gunshot, hence the name. Known entomologist Justin Schmidt ranked it as the most painful sting on his Sting Anguish Index, calling it pure, intense, and unrelenting pain. A bullet ant sting can cause excruciating pain for sufferers for up to a day. These ants have long been used by indigenous cultures as part of initiation ceremonies, in which participants are stung as a test of their bravery and endurance. Although a bullet ant sting isn't usually lethal, its status as the ultimate sting carrier guarantees that it is both avoided and respected. Executioner wasp. According to scientist Justin Schmidt's well-known sting pain index, the bullet ant has been known to have the most painful sting of any insect for many years. But a lot of people, like nature expert and YouTuber Coyote Peterson, say that the executioner wasp should win. Schmidt does not include the executioner wasp in his score because he has never experienced its sting. However, Coyote's personal experience paints a very clear picture. In one of his scariest experiences, Coyote said the sting was unbearable, and he felt a strong burning feeling go through his arm in seconds. When introduced deep into the skin, the poison damages tissue by speeding up cell death. He has a lot of swelling and even a small hole where the bee stung him. It took days for the executioner wasp to get over his image as the king of the stings. Velvet ant. Despite its name, the velvet ant is not actually an ant, but rather a wingless wasp that delivers one of the most painful stings in the insect world. This creature, which is ominously referred to as the cow killer, acquired its moniker not from actual fatalities, but rather from the excruciating torment it inflicts with its venom. Although velvet ants are known for their excruciating stings, they are much more than that. Their survival strategies are as intriguing as they are disquieting. Females are parasitic invaders who deposit their eggs in the colonies of other insects. The larvae eliminate any competition before maturing by feeding on the host's pupa during the egg's hatching. The defenses of this wasp are not limited to this. Velvet ants are equipped with a robust exoskeleton, emit a chemical warning odor, and have the ability to emit high-pitched squeaks to repel predators. However, their most notorious characteristic is unquestionably their venomous sting, which is an experience that the majority would prefer to avoid. Driver ant. Dorylus ants, also known as driver ants, are a natural phenomenon. These ants, which are indigenous to Central and Eastern Africa and certain regions of tropical Asia, establish colossal colonies that contain more than 20 million members. They are distinguished not only by their numerical values, but also by their conduct. Driver ants are carnivorous predators that primarily consume earthworms and small animals. However, their coordinated swarms have the potential to overwhelm any object in their path. Driver ants have strong teeth that look like scissors and can tear through skin. Most ants bite. It can be hard to get rid of a driver ant bite once it's stuck on. Their bites are painful and very strong. In some places, these ants are used in traditional medicine. They use their jaws to quickly and effectively close cuts. But this kind of cleverness hurts anyone who isn't ready when it comes across their way. Killer bee. As deadly as its name indicates, the killer bee, also known as Africanized honeybee, emergent in Brazil in the 1950s as a mix between East African and European honeybees. This hybrid species, originally intended to increase honey output, the experiment veered dangerously when some of the bees fled and quickly dispersed South and Central America and portions of North America. The aggressive nature of killer bees is well known. Threatened, they strike in swarms, mercilessly attacking intruders. Although a single bee sting hurts, it is not usually lethal. Their sheer numbers pose a risk. A disturbed hive might spew hundreds or even thousands of bees in search of a perceived threat. A killer bee can strike several times. One horrifying instance happened in 2010 when a 73-year-old man unintentionally disturbed a killer bee colony while cutting back vegetation. The swarm assaulted him non-stop, denying him any opportunity for escape. They are among the most hostile and destructive bee species worldwide, occasionally pursuing victims for more than 400 yards. Giant centipede. If the sight of a centipede makes you shiver, encountering a giant centipede could be the most terrifying experience. One of the biggest centipedes on the planet, this gigantic beast lives in the tropical parts of South America and may reach a length of 12 inches, 30 centimeters. Some individuals even keep them as pets, which is hard to fathom for the average person. And fierce predator, the giant centipede may overwhelm larger insects such as scorpions and spiders. The sharp pincers it uses to inject its venom help it subdue victims and protect itself from bigger predators. Bite wounds inflicted by humans are extremely painful, albeit they do not occur very often. In addition to causing cardiovascular problems, the venom can cause nausea, fever, and other symptoms. These centipedes are more than simply an annoyance. They do constant damage to gardens and farms. Kissing bugs. Keep in mind that the moniker kissing bug belies the fact that these little insects pose a serious threat. These blood-sucking insects bite instead of offering kisses. They are found throughout Mexico, Central and South America, and portions of the United States. They prey on sleeping, unknowing people for blood, much like mosquitoes. Kissing bug? Why then? The reason being, these pests love to bite people right around their eyes and mouths. One night, a single kissing bug may inflict agonizing welts on its victim with as many as 15 bites. Worse still, they are vectors for the deadly Chagas disease, which may be transmitted through their bites. If not addressed, the illness advances to more severe and sometimes incurable stages, causing early symptoms such as edema, nausea, vomiting, anemia, and fever. Tragic outcomes are common among those infected with Chagas disease, which is a major public health concern in South America. Despite their little size, these bugs provide a significant threat. Brown-tail moth. The brown-tail moth may seem harmless, yet its minuscule toxic hairs pack a potent force. This invasive species was mistakenly brought from Europe in 1897 and is now prevalent in sections of the United States, notably along the coasts of Massachusetts and Maine. An invasive species is one that has become overpopulated and is causing ecological harm, and the brown-tail moth certainly qualifies. Adult moths provide little harm, but their larvae do. Microscopic toxic hairs coat these caterpillars, causing dermatitis, a severe reaction when they come into contact with sensitive skin. The discomfort can be severe, and for some, it causes breathing problems when the hairs become airborne. If you find yourself in an area containing brown-tail moths, you should avoid them, especially during the larval stage. Have you ever seen a dangerous insect? Tell us your story in the comments. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and check out our other videos. Click on one on the screen or visit our channel for more. Thanks for watching and see you next time.